folks? What's up? It's Carpo again, and another episode of Just Chillin'. I'm outside here. It's a little bit rainy, but not too bad. Hoping it doesn't start pouring on me, because it seems like every time I sit down to do a video, it starts pouring on me. So let me pick up and move right around the corner here. Okay. This is what happens. So I was sitting out there and I was like sitting on the side of the house. When I said that, my wife laughed. I don't know if she was outside listening to Colbert talk or listening to me, but now that I think about it, she was probably listening to Colbert on the radio. It's pretty annoying. I'm never funny. Colbert always wins. So, my point in making this video, and the reason why I didn't start over, because I should have when I had to turn around. Now I hear her again, she's laughing at Colbert. I wanted to bring to everyone's attention that this world, in whatever way you perceive it, is completely awesome. Okay? I don't know. I'm going to expound on that for a minute. First thing I have to do is I'm going to take a bong hit. And I'm not going to smoke weed in my videos anymore. My mom was telling me that, she thought it was kind of tacky to smoke weed. Not tacky, but I've noticed that when I smoke pot, it slows me down. And I'm not in denial. I know what marijuana does to the brain, and I'm not, in denial of that. I have this bong, and I'm sitting out on my front porch. Houses everywhere, and I'm taking a bong hit. And the point of this last one is that I'm going to be able to smoke weed now again out in public, not again, but out in public, without having to worry about repercussions, to an extent, at least on my property. And there was a time when I was afraid to even have the smell waft over my neighbor's fence. And times change, people change. And there was a time when if you would have asked me, do people change? I say no. I retract that statement. I mean, this is before I ever made videos or anything, but that's just how I felt years ago. So, it's okay to retract your statements as long as you're aware and honest with yourself. And honesty is always the best policy. The irony that I made that statement about honesty right before I took a bong hit is that I didn't mean for it to go that way. That tastes delicious. And it's cobweb, I believe. I didn't mean to say that, but that was the original inspiration for my video. Was about honesty, and I totally forgot about it a couple days ago. When I started this one, I really had no subject. But here I am. Honesty. And there's a reason why honesty is such an important factor, is because there would be people who would tell you that being honest in all applications is the most important thing. And I've always been honest. I've stolen from grocery stores, I've taken things that weren't mine, but I've never stolen from friends, so I always had like certain moral values, and I made the excuses that, they're corporations, Nowadays I have too many morals. I couldn't even steal a candy bar from the grocery store because it doesn't matter if it's a corporation or not. Stealing is not right to me. Taking more than my share is not right, and that's just to me. And, because the guilt always outweighs the benefits in the end. So, years ago, I was very honest about everything, to the extent where, and I still am, I'm not saying that I changed, but when I developed an honesty that kind of came with being young, my father taught me well about being honest, and so did my mom. I got caught lying before, and I was never good at it. some people are great at lying. They train themselves. And I just could never do it. And I'm glad. But I took it a little bit too far in the sense that people tell you to always be honest and be true. And so when someone, let's say for example, let me give you an example. Your wife asks you, how does this dress look? And then let's say it looks like shit. What do you say? I mean, this is your opinion. It looks like shit, but you want to be honest, right? And this is one of those very mundane example, but a very common one. People will ask you, what do you think? They have a new tattoo. It's on them for life. How about that one? Your buddy gets a new tattoo, and it looks like total shit. I mean, do you tell them that? No, you have to be cool. Like, right on, man. Good for you. It's what you wanted. Honesty has a certain degree of flexibility. And I've often pondered the ability to, I should say, I've pondered whether or not a person should juggle that, the scales of lying for the better of the whole situation. For example, an entire group is relying on a person for their, as a shoulder, shoulder to lean on, and that person does something or makes a mistake that might, if revealed, make the whole of the group fail, and that person would need to cover the tracks of what he'd done in order to prevent a breakdown of his own group. And since humans make mistakes, we're bound to have these events happen. I guess you could even apply that to an aspect where a military unit is out and they're in the fog of war and they're out in Afghanistan, and all of a sudden some civilians get shot by Americans, and the retort that could come from the knowledge of that being revealed is justified to be concealed and hidden by the government. Like all the testing our government's done, all the things that we've done, the horrific things that our government has done. Often they're concealed in the interest of public respect, which they don't deserve for doing those things, a lot of those things, most of those things. And that's just another example. That's governmental issues. But on a personal level, the mistakes that we make as individuals, the lies that we tell, we dig like these. We dig ourselves these pits, and in very many different ways. I guess it was described as the rabbit hole quite often. Somebody mentioned that too in a video recently that I just watched. And the rabbit hole is a great example. I like to think of it as kind of a pit mine. You start mining away at all the certain behavioral patterns, and all of a sudden, you're stuck at the bottom, and it's a long way out. You can get out, but it takes a lot of work, a lot of climbing. You get to a point where you lie a lot, or you do things that are dishonest, and it's hard to break away from that. I've seen a lot of dishonest people. They just lie. It's not their fault. It is their fault completely. And I hate liars, and I really don't like thieves. I mean, I don't hate. Even though I do have hate tattooed on my knuckles. I've always been fond of that. I did it when I was 14, and I was high on pills, and my buddy and I got really high so I wouldn't feel it. Took a bunch of Dilaudid, and I just... And my father had passed away recently, like within the last month, and he left a bottle of, painkillers, Dilaudid, strong, morphine-like compound, and we were eating those like candy, and I didn't feel a damn thing, and I did the little spider web because I thought it was cool, and anyway, the point to that is, I guess, that I have hate on my hands when I try to love as much as possible, and I really don't hate anyone or anything, even liars and thieves, because I understand that they're programmed by society to do the things that they do, and it's often not their fault. But I still blame them. Like in the prior video I made about stupid people, those are the stupid people. if you're out there stealing people's car stereos and doing things to people that are affecting their business, for example, I'm a carpenter, and I always take my tools home from the job site and lock them up well because I'm afraid of them getting ripped off, even from a house that's closed up, even when people live there sometimes, because tool thieves will like pace around a block until they see something. Like, for example, my buddy went to lunch a while back, put his tools up by the porch, and the neighbor came over after he got back from lunch and said, hey, there's been this guy who's driven around like 4 times, and he was eyeing your tools. There's this little old lady that told him. And the guy drove by again, and he tried to look away, and then he took off. I mean, guys are brazen. People are out there that are thieves. And the justifications that we create for ourselves need to be analyzed on a day-to-day basis. The things that we do, we need to be totally responsible for. Each one of us has this, or each one of us who are fighting for truth, or fighting for honesty and justice, have our own little niche where we fit in. And often honesty gets lost when we try to draw conclusions that are based on false evidence. So it's not always a lack of honesty, it's sometimes just I don't know, I guess it's just a lack of information. It's ignorance. Now, being honest with yourself. Now I've talked about being honest with the world, being honest with reality. You have to be honest with your environment, what's really going on. You have to be honest with knowledge. Then you have to be honest with people around you to an extent, even to the, but you have to know when to say when, and to the little lies that are where you're not hurting anyone and you're not lying about something that you shouldn't be doing. I don't know, that's up to each individual. But then there's the lies that you tell to yourself, and those are the most important ones that I want to cover, because the lies that we tell to ourselves are the strongest, and they have the largest impact on who we are. And I don't like the fact that, humans do some of the things that we do, but I know what justification is, and justification is the word that I use quite often, but I don't use it in a way, I guess once, that word seems to fit human behavior for everything we do. And whether our job is harmful to the environment, or maybe our way of parenting is not conducive to, raising good children, or whether we're negligent on the things that we should be doing, or we're faking disability and taking government handouts without, making an effort to make a change. I made a video about asking for help. The truth is, asking for help is a very noble thing, and everybody needs to do it when they need it. But if you don't need it, make the best effort for yourself to do what you can. Be honest with who you are. Be honest with yourself. And I'm honest with myself, and that's why I'm sitting here and smoking and taking bong hits, and that's the point. That's why I'm doing this last bong hit video, because I know that it's distracting, and I'm actually trying to quit smoking, but it's the only time I actually get away to make a video is when I come outside for like 10 minutes a day, where I can get away from all the noise and commotion of daily life and kids and everything, and speak my mind, and it's important to me. And I'm honest with myself that I should quit smoking, and I took a couple of Valium earlier to calm myself down, and I feel very relaxed right now. And it's something that I don't abuse, because I'm honest with myself that if I started taking them, which I could get just about any drug I'd want, just like anyone can. I mean, I've been around, I've been taking shit for 25 years, I know where to get just about anything. But I don't, because I'm honest with myself, and I know that an addiction can destroy a person. So I'm very cautious about what I do. So, yes, I smoke a few cigarettes, but smoking pot and taking kratom are my big crutches. And I've been really trying to look at them in a different light, that they're not crutches, that they're they're not detrimental to life. They're enhancements to life. And my mom watches my videos, and she said the other day that, or today, that people, she said, what about someone like me that's say 61 and they're watching this video and they you know, see you as having something good to say, but then see you taking bong hits and decide to turn it off because of that. And I told her, well, I don't want those people watching my videos. I don't want people who are going to judge me based on drug use, because pot's just, you know, something I do right now. And what I say, what I do should have no bearing on what I say, so long as I'm not as long as I'm practicing what I preach, and I'm not, you know, preventing myself from growing, because really growing is what life's all about. I've learned to completely stay out of the realm of panic and worry about what life could be or should be, or where I should be right now, and just enjoying the moment for what it is. And I've see so many people around me who just seem so miserable, and it saddens me to no end. And that's why I continue to make videos, in hopes that I can inspire at least one person to be honest with themselves and see that each one of us is very unique. And like like I heard Alan Watts say, you know, there's never going to be another one of you. You are an individual, unique character. And of all the universal creations that are out there, trillions of stars, and billions of years, if not more, you are the only you, and you only live for a short period of time. And to be honest with yourself is the first step towards being honest with everything else. Because once you see your own faults and you embrace them for what they are, they're really easy to conquer. And you can pick and choose which ones you want to do or what time. But just remember that most of our addictions are a mental block to happiness. And that happiness is based on living a life that is full of value and values. Things that we do that are good for us, good for our families and our environment. So I welcome you all to make an effort to better your environment and be the best son, daughter, parent, cousin, friend, or human you can be. Namaste, everybody.